Thanks so much. So what I did want to come here today, very much so, because I think I have a very important message to bring to you. And that is that I think that we have literally lost the human. We've lost the human in our rush to new technology. And let me tell you, I love technology. I absolutely do. Anyone who knows me knows that I'm an absolute technology geek. I have every single device known to man. If an app is out, just heard of a new one called Spritz. Have you heard of this? Spritz apparently allows you to read up to 1,000 words a minute, something like that. Now, I could use that. Well, I'm not so sure that speed is the only thing important in reading. But this, unfortunately, it's only available for Android, I think, right now. Don't happen to have an Android device. But I have a Fitbit and absolutely love it. I have technology in my cottage, in my house, and I'm addicted to it. But technology is absolutely everywhere. This dude has goggles that have a GPS built into them. Have you guys seen that? And a little LCD screen. I actually touched a pair out at Whistler earlier this year, but I held myself back. I'm not sure I want to know how fast I'm going anymore. Never mind my altitude. But you can actually plug your goggles right into your laptop when you're finished the day, and you have some bragging rights with your buddies. In addition to that, if you technology is in design now, if you have that perfect color that you wanted to paint your room, maybe you saw it in a movie, you just upload a screenshot of that, and Olympia's color clicks will match the color perfectly. And in addition to that, you'll be able to, they'll actually, if you upload a picture of your room, they'll overlay the color on your room so you can see what that might look like. Sorry to do this just before lunch, but this is all about healthy meals in 20 seconds out of the vending machine, just for the swipe of a student card. And it would be great if it weren't for the fact that you can also track what you've eaten, and not only you have access to that, but your parents. What's more important than what's going down the runway in a fashion show? Well, of course, it's who's sitting in the front row. And how close are you to that? So guests to this fashion show were allowed to swipe into a kiosk to get their seat assignment, so they knew instantly how close they were to Posh Spice. And not only that, who else had already checked in, and so it gives you some time, if you're not ogling Heidi Klum there, you can spend some time schmoozing some of your clients that have already made it to this show. We actually have an example of this right here in Kitchener at the Bauer Kitchen with the Megan app. This is actually a touch screen table, and you get to see not only the menu, get to order, pay. You actually get to look inside the kitchen to see how your order is coming along, and even order a taxi at the end of the day, all without even interacting with a human. And high definition security cameras allow us to remain protected while the dog investigates the security threat at there. So on the retail side, Driscoll's actually deliver 3.8 million pounds of fruit a day throughout North America, thanks to some very fancy technology that they use in their warehouse system. And if you're a Grey's Anatomy fan and you don't mind Nielsen looking over your shoulder, you can download an app that not only allows you special access to content, but also to talk to some of the other other people who are watching the show at the same time. Special transmitters attached to firefighters allow the commander to not only tell the firefighters how to maneuver when they get inside the burning structure, but also to withdraw them when their respiration and heart rate show. So technology, yeah, and increasingly, as you can see here, back 35,000 BC, the only record keeping was sticks and bones. And that lasted, believe that or not, for 30,000 years until 6600 BC hit and brought us the abacus and paper. And that held up until the 1400s when the printing press came to bear. The 1800s brought the telegraph and radio. 1900s, television and the telephone. And the 2000s, of course, brought the web. But can you see how it's accelerating the pace of technology throughout? And 2010, well, every morning I wake up, there's a new app. But certainly Instagram, Pinterest, Reddit, all your favorite social media apps. Increasingly, technology is being brought to us over the web. And let me tell you, it's not accommodating something that indeed hasn't changed over those 37,000 years, and that is the human. Throughout those years, the human has remained the same and is increasingly not being taken into consideration in the design and development of new technology. The human caring and feeling, the human with hope and curiosity, wanting to break through boundaries. That's what technology should be serving. But instead, when humans access much of the websites today, what do they find? Frustration. 93% of all those individuals who today access the web have admitted to having a frustrating experience with at least one website. And 72% of mobile users as well have expressed frustrating experience with a mobile app. And of course, fear as well. And the one terrifying thing for corporations today is that 87% of those people said that their experience or bad experience on the web actually made them feel worse about the company that they were interacting with. So who cares? I know I do. And now I understand 93% of you do, or perhaps 72% if you're all mobile app users. And as I had expressed, only those companies that want to survive are now paying attention to this very serious issue. People have actually, in that same survey, said that if they had a better experience, they would do more on the web. They would do more browsing. They would do more shopping. They would do more TV watching, more reading. So I could not say it better, I don't think, than Anthony Franco. And I wrote this down just to make sure I'd get this properly. He's the president of TEDxUW and co-founder. He said, we have to start building experiences for the people that we are meant to serve, to help solve problems, not as engineers, but as empathetic human beings. Of course, many of us know about this as user experience, UX. All corporations think of it as customer experience, and nothing could be closer to what they think about every day of the year. I like to think about it at a broader term as human experience. So I'm here to say that it's time for us to not only consider the technology associated with our new advances, but it's time for us to understand the human being. And that's not just the human being that we have in this room, our friends and foes, but also those around the world. We have to understand them socially, culturally, even physiologically. Where does your eye want to go when it looks at a screen? But just before all you great engineers dive in to try to solve this on your very own, I'm here to tell you that no man is an island, that it really will take a team to solve this issue. A team, and in my estimation, what I like to talk about, a whole brain team. A whole brain team is a team that isn't perhaps one of the most satisfying or comfortable things, but one where there's some tension and some diversity of opinion. This is my whole brain team. So a whole brain team that incorporates for sure the technologist, because it's only through technology that we can really unleash what we're trying to do today in a social, in interactive way. And I wouldn't suggest that you have Kevin O'Leary on your team, but you definitely do need someone who has some business skill to say, how can we make money from this endeavor in order to make the initiative sustainable? So we've talked about engineering and business over the last few years. I'm saying now that equally as important as those aspects is the creative juices of the human. And it's so important to add that artistic capability to the team, to try to uncover what the human desires and needs. So corporations are really twigging to this now. I've spent many years actually with senior execs from firms up and down Bay Street and beyond. And I always ask them, what are we missing? What are we missing as a university in our graduates? What are those skills that if you could have none other, you would ask for in the graduates coming to you? And they, of course, talk about teamwork, very much so. They talk about the ability to communicate, and beyond that, to tell a story. And there's a reason for telling a story. Evolution has baked storytelling into our very psyche as humans. We're hyper-intelligent, hyper-social creatures. Use that in motivating your experience. UX and gamification, you all, I'm sure, know very well. They're very hot skills right now for corporations. Also, data visualization, taking that big data and bringing it down into that aha moment. And more than anything else, creative problem solving. So this is a capability of cracking through some of the world's wicked problems in very new and different ways. We here at universities are getting it too, and I put a picture of Stanford there, for many of you know, but University of Waterloo has been huge in experiential learning and has long had, obviously, co-op programs and so on. Industry integration, we ask for projects from firms. We ask for feedback on our graduates. You know, how are they doing in work, and what are we missing? And then finally, and more recently, and most difficultly, I might add, we're looking to now look at program integration. And program integration really means that as engineering students, you start to work together with art students. As arts programs, we start to work together with science programs. We believe that in these mixed programs, merged, integrated programs, that will create the true knowledge worker for the future. So my call to action to all of you is to get out there and start something, build whole brain team, and whatever you do, don't forget the human. Thank you very much.